Hello, welcome to Wolfie's Tiny Things, and today we're going to be talking about insulators. But before that, I was going to connect my phone to the tripod so I wouldn't need to just go one-handed like I am. But unfortunately, it just doesn't fit my rather thick phone by about 2 millimeters. So that's what kind of let it down. So anyway, I'm just going to have that work single-handed, so that's fine. Years ago, if you're in Footscray in this area, Yarraville, sort of Kingsville area, there was a place that was actually giving these out a very long time ago, before I was born actually, and I had no idea what this thing was, but it was a door stopper, and our place wasn't the only one who had one of these. I found that quite a lot of places had them, and the story was that Mum told me that there was a factory around that made these things, and you could go to the factory and just buy one for a door stopper. And in fact, if you come across one of these, you might come across one of these if you live locally, because they were sort of given out to a lot of people. I've washed it. There's a few drops on it, drops of water. Anyway, I didn't know what this was. I had no idea what this was, and I think I assumed it was something military, because we've got something like we've got a shell in the kitchen which Mum always used as a doorstop. No, it doesn't have a bomb in it. It's fine. So yeah, years later I found that it's actually an insulator, and I started collecting these glass ones over the years, and some of them were given to me, and collectors know that they have all these different brands that you will learn about if you become a collector. That now they look a bit like Daleks, don't they? Some say they look a little bit like butt plugs, and some people say they look a little bit like penises, and they kind of do. Now the places that are kind of special, there was Hemingway, that's an American one, and I don't know whether that's that's another Hemingway. That's a different one, and that's an AC. I don't know where that one comes from actually. I don't know whether it's an American one or not. Then that's a Brookfield, the highly sought after item there. You can get these on eBay, and they're actually quite old. They don't actually use them anymore. The glass ones, they've actually mostly gone to I was going to say ceramic. I'm looking for something in particular, but I just saw something interesting before, and I just can't locate it. There was a date on one of them, which was oh, there it is. Look, May the 2nd, 1893. So that's quite old, but you can get older ones, and they can be actually very valuable. I've seen some going for about $1,000. None of these by any means. These are quite cheap as far as these things go. Anyway, I started collecting these. I got quite a lot of them, and you can sort of see that it's an attempt at very early recycling, because all of these are made out of old bottles. Basically, they would collect up, the council would collect up all the old bottles and take them to the factory and make these. The sad thing is that they just didn't last very long. So that's when they started to develop the clay ones. So yeah, kind of sad, because these are really quite beautiful. But people will get them now just to sort of decorate their home, because they look a little bit, I don't know, they might look a bit spacey. They might look a bit sort of, it's a reminder of old industrial times. I particularly like that one. That one's my favourite. And it's got a fleck of dirt in them. Sometimes you get a fleck of dirt or something in them. And it's also got, it has been used, and you can see around the top, I don't know whether it's coming up on the video though, but there are markings in the glass up the top, and that's actually apparently from the wires that were wound around it, sort of wore into it over the years. And at some point, whether they took the pole down or whether it fell off the pole, I don't know. The pole caught fire or whatever. The thing came down and they just replaced the whole pole and everything rather than put the whole thing back up. Yeah, or maybe they just replaced them with the brand new ones. A little while ago, I was kicking myself because I didn't get it, but there was a miniature one that was about this big, and the reason that it was that size was because the salesman used to go around with briefcases full of them, and they used to go to electrical companies or telephone companies and say, look, check this out, this is really nice. But the one that I saw that was on eBay at the time that I didn't buy, and I should have, was made out of uranium glass, which would have been really cool because that would have glowed in the dark under UV light. So that would have been fantastic. And also, if I can just make a little bit of room here now. Oh, by the way, you can sort of tell what people have been drinking in certain areas, can't you? I wonder if that they were just milk drinkers in this area, or perhaps they just had lemonade. Maybe a bit of lemonade and a little bit of wine in this area, and everyone else just drank wine. And this area, they must have been famous for drinking wine, I think. Now, this one comes from Australia. And it's brown. I wonder why. I wonder. So, all that beer, or maybe they were good Christian men who drank ginger beer. Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, Kim, she is a ceramic artist in Tasmania. And she said to me, Pete, Wolfie, guess what? I've made some for an exhibition, and, I've got lots of these, and I don't really know what I'm going to end up doing with them. So I reckon I might send them over to you. And I said, beauty, I'll have them. They're not really insulators, and they do look more penisy than usual, but they are actually moulded off real insulators, because look, it's got the branding in there that you can see, but they're not real ones. But they're pretty anyway, I think. I like them. So they do look a bit rude, or maybe they look like Daleks. Or some of these look. That one looks more like a Dalek, maybe. I think that one really looks like a Dalek, doesn't it? So that's cool. But then a friend of hers said, Kim, I would really like a salt pig made out of one of those. So she attempted to make these salt pigs. And people have made them into lamps and everything, the real ones, but these are the ones that she's made, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And again, they're made out of the AGM ones, which are modelled over the Australian version, which is that one. And they seem to have shrunk a bit, I think. Possibly during the firing process. I'm not sure. Maybe she just used smaller ones. I don't know. But salt pigs, for those kiddies who don't know, you used to have salt in there and a spoon, and you'd dig out the salt and you'd use that for recipes and so forth. And Mum had a great big one that was about the size. Actually, her salt pig was bigger than that. Okay. So, but they're not really good because dirt gets into them. You don't want, fluff and stuff gets into your salt because it's open to the environment. So I would prefer that salt was locked away and you would shake it out or keep it in the Saxa plastic thing to keep it nice and clean. So anyway, I think that's it. Do I give Kim a plug? I reckon I ought to. That's Kim, if you want to get in touch and see if you can get some nice ceramic stuff. She's very good. She does some things that are a lot more unusual than just cups and stuff. So she likes to experiment. So if you want to get in touch with her, definitely do that. But anyway, that is some. I don't think it's all. I think that's some of my insulator collection, which I thought I'd show you. Not terribly valuable stuff either. You can get these on eBay easily enough, and they'll send them to you from anywhere in the world. And so if you're just wanting to collect something that's pretty and will sit on your window and look nice, there is a risk though. Be careful if you leave them in a sunny spot, because I've heard that sometimes sun can filter through glass and cause fires. So there was something like that. Some woman had a glass thing on her windowsill, and the sun was shining through it and causing a spot on the back of her sofa, and it was smouldering away, and she could smell something burning every other day, and think, what's that? And then found this really nasty burn spot on the back of her sofa. I don't know whether it's real or not, but still, it sounds kind of logical or plausible at least. So do be careful with that. So there you go. That's Wolfie's Tiny Things for today. And also, I've got to say, thank you, Marco, for maybe my little mascot. All the best. See you later.